Okay, so here we are with our turkey. We've had this turkey just a day or two to let it relax, and we're going to do it Spanish style. So we're going to stuff it with some couscous, and we're going to use some sherry and some sherry vinegar. So traditionally we put in Ireland we put a bread or an onion stuffing or even a sausage stuffing. We're going to do this one in a kind of Moorish Spanish style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry off some onions and garlic, one large onion with 2 cloves of garlic, and we're going to fry that off. We're going to fry it off in a little bit of oil and a small bit of butter as well. So we want to cook them until they're nice and brown to get that kind of earthiness in, and then we're going to add our water and our couscous into that. So what I'm going to do is for the liquid for our couscous, I'm going to add some dried porcini just to give it a nice kind of earthy flavour to our stock, and I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock. So you can use any stock in your for your couscous, but you can use any stock in your couscous. So a little bit of chicken stock, the mushrooms, and we're just going to put that on the heat and let that come up to the boil. You can do that the night before because you'll get a nice flavour in from the mushrooms. Okay, so our onions are sweating away. We're going to use some nice sea salt. This is Achill Island sea salt that we use. Okay. And once you get a little bit of colour on your onions, we're going to add in our stock. So we've added our stock in, our chicken and mushroom stock into the onions. Okay. So we've added our chicken stock into our onions, and we're going to put that back on the boil and let it come up. And when that's nice and hot, we're going to add in our couscous. Now what I've done with our couscous, I've added in some nice spices, some ras el hanout, some cumin, some coriander, and I've also added in some dried fruits, like some sultanas, some apricots, and some dried figs. So all of that can be mixed in ahead because it's all dry. Now, once you get your liquid to the boil, so we got our liquid, our chicken stock is boiling, and we're just going to pop in our couscous. Now, for the couscous, you want to use an equal volume of water to couscous. So I've used 500 grams of couscous, and you want to use 500 mils of water, or for a kilo use a litre of water. So you've got some nice aromatics there, and we're just going to give that a little bit more seasoning. And again, you can do this the day before if you want. You can do this Christmas Eve, and then you can let that go cold, and you can stuff that from cold. And I'm going to add in a little bit of sherry vinegar just for the acidity. And then we're going to stuff our turkey. Okay. So I'm going to stuff the turkey with our couscous. And you want to pack the couscous right in. So it's a nice alternative to bread, and also if you have someone who can't have bread but can have couscous, it's a nice alternative. And also it has a very different taste profile to our normal dressing, because you have all those kind of Moorish elements of the cumin and the coriander. So pack all that in. Okay. So once we have our turkey stuffed, you want to just lightly oil the tray underneath the turkey, just so it doesn't stick. And then we're going to oil them, a little bit of rapeseed oil, and then we're going to take some butter that I've melted. So you can just see that I've melted butter. I'm going to get the pastry brush, and I'm just going to give them a good base. The turkey has a tendency to dry out sometimes in the oven, so it's important that you give it as much liquid as possible. So plenty of fat, because again turkey is quite lean, and we're going to use some sherry, some Spanish sherry to keep them nice and moist. Okay, so that's our skin done. So some more salt for our crust. We're going to take a little bit of Oloroso sherry, which is a medium-bodied sherry. You can use Oloroso or Amontillado, but you don't want to use any of the pale dry ones or the sweet ones. So any of the kind of dark dry ones. And we're going to pour this over our turkey. So we've got our butter, our salt, and our sherry. Okay. So about 100 ml. Just to stop our stuffing from burning, I'm just going to place a piece of tin foil in over it. You can sew up your turkey as well if you like, but this is just as handy. And then our turkey's ready to go into the oven. Now as the turkey cooks, a lot of liquid will come out of the turkey, so it's important to keep basting the turkey throughout the cooking. Now we're going to put it in the oven at about 140, which is about 20 degrees less than normal, because we want the turkey to cook a little bit slower, because the slower the meat will cook, the more moisture it will retain. So if you have a little bit more time in your hands, do put the turkey in for a little bit longer at a lower temperature. So we're going to pop our turkey into the oven. And it's going to take about 2.5 or 3 hours. So it's very important when you're cooking your turkey to be able to assess the temperature. And the best way to assess the temperature is to buy yourself a temperature probe. Now this one is slightly more sophisticated than the average model, but you can get ones the size of a pen. And you'll be able to push it into the thickest part of the turkey and be able to read the temperature. So you want your turkey to come up to about 65 or 70 degrees and then be able to let it rest for about 20 minutes. So it's very, very important that you're able to check that temperature, because you have your oven at 140, and there's a number of different ways of checking. You can do time plus weight, or you can also run clear. But the best way to check it is to just probe it, and then you'll be able to get an accurate reading. So once you get up to between 65 and 70, take your turkey out, let it rest for about 20 minutes, and then carve. So it's very important that you let your turkey rest. As with all meat, meat needs time when it comes out of the oven to relax. And if you cook the turkey too early, you lose a lot of the juice that you've done so much work to keep during the cooking. So do let your turkey rest for about 15 or 20 minutes. You can put it in a warm spot in the kitchen. It won't lose that much heat, and it will retain a lot more moisture when you slice it. The turkey is resting for 20 minutes. You can have a good glass of Spanish wine to accompany our turkey. So if you want to stay on the white side, you can have a Verdeco or an Albarino. Both of those Spanish grapes, and go very, very well with a turkey. Or on the red side of things, you can go for a Grenache, which grows principally in Navarra, or you can also have a young Rioja. You don't want something too full-bodied with your turkey, because it is predominantly a white meat. Now the legs are brown meat. So, but I would stay on the lighter side, where it's a light Grenache, a young Rioja, or you can also, there's also some nice Spanish Pinot Noirs.
Our turkey, we've taken out of the oven and allowed to rest for about 20 minutes, just to make sure that all the juices stay in there. We had it in the oven for about 2.5 hours at 160, but just to remind you that we checked the temperature of the turkey with the temperature probe, and we brought it up to 65 degrees. So it's important that you use the temperature probe to make sure that you don't overcook and overcook the turkey. And as you can see, our couscous is nicely cooked as well, still moist from the juices of the turkey. Just to remind you as well that we had a tin foil there covering that. So all that's left is for you to carve and enjoy.